For how great Monster Hunter Wild's launch was, and even with the updates like adding Lagiacrus and Seregios, there are still overwhelmingly negative reviews on the game. From the game of the year to the game of flops and frustration, what happened with Monster Hunter Wilds, and why has it lost so many players? The year is 2004, and Monster Hunter is just this niche PS2 game that's barely making waves outside of Japan. Sure, it's a Capcom title, so it's catching some eyes globally, but it's far from the juggernaut franchise that we know today. In fact, the original game received a mediocre 5.7 out of 10 from GameSpot, calling it mediocre. Quote, ultimately, Monster Hunter just feels irrelevant. Its seemingly single-minded purpose of recreating the Phantasy Star Online experience apparently superseded any motivation to make it a unique, original experience. Had Monster Hunter actually been released during the Dreamcast era, which is where it seems to hail from, it probably would have fared pretty well. But in today's world, it's merely a living fossil, reminding us of what online console gaming once looked like. Now, this review should have been seen as a death sentence back then, especially for Western success. But game journalists out there, once again, you were proven very, very wrong, because Monster Hunter clearly didn't fail, and it's still one of the most popular global successes to this day. Now, fans couldn't really push back against critic scores like they can now. There was no major fan forums that everybody could gather together and really have a voice in everything. There was a handful of obscure fan forums where fans of the game could point to counter arguments and actually begin to push back. And within those circles, Monster Hunter fandom was growing. I show this example because what's currently going on in Monster Hunter in regards to reviews and review bombing has its fair share of reasons that some fans of the oldest games are rightfully angry about. But at the same time, a lot of the critiques out there also feel like a lot of fear mongering. And I want to just talk about all of this today. One of the main complaints going on right now from the community is performance issues still bogging down the experience. And this one absolutely has credibility. At this point, you would hope that Capcom would have hit the game with many performance patches to fix a lot of the issues it's currently facing, like frame drops and insane lighting issues. But the transition to the RE engine, making Monster Hunter look absolutely amazing at times, has caused so many issues with the actual performance of the game that until Capcom has it under control, I don't even blame the fan base. It kind of goes against what Monster Hunter was all about at the end of the day. Sure, the games looked fine, but not all of them are going for this graphical reception. Some of them are purposely cartoonish games, and they prioritize gameplay first and looks second. Some reviews like extremely fun gameplay but can't recommend it in its current state. Exploding polygons, verticals, horrible textures, pop-ins, network errors galore. Generally horrid optimization. We'll change the review once Capcom fixes these issues. Another one saying that Monster Hunter is dragged down by its plot and optimization/DRM issues. And while I personally would have to agree that the DRM issues are there, the story is just fine. And this review that says there are no cooking cats, they don't reveal this to you, and the hours go by and hours go by, and suddenly you realize there's no cooking cats, and by then you can't request a refund. But that's about where I find the end of the complaints. And hey, if there's any foreshadowing to what the rest of the video is going to be like, I should tell you that the cooking cats are back in the update with the social hub. And updates are something we will talk about a lot in this video. But it's frustrating that the story, which is so much better than the damn Dragonator from World, is getting so much shit when it's just fine. It's not insane, but it's just fine. However, the other complaint that has been making waves is just the sheer lack of content compared to something like Monster Hunter World. And while World didn't have the issues exemplified as hard, it's important to stress that World did have these issues. In a post from 7 years ago on the Monster Hunter subreddit, we can find a post that says, "Is Monster Hunter World on PC better now than it was at launch? It still has mixed reviews on Steam, but have the recent updates improved server issues? I really want to pick up this game over the holidays," with comments saying it improved tremendously, patches have been put in, etc, etc. So performance was something that even Monster Hunter World faced, and I use Monster Hunter World as a point of comparison because Monster Hunter World World and Monster Hunter Wild are both very similar in presentation and gameplay, but the other complaints outside of performance issues, like running out of things to do, can also be backed up by old Polygon articles which say Monster Hunter World Guide. What the heck am I supposed to do next? There's also Steam posts from the community saying I'm having a hard time trying to have fun. Others saying this game suffers from a lot of bad decisions and designs and laziness. And finally, there's posts like, is Monster Hunter World running out of ideas? Now, all of these were posted before one of the biggest updates that ever hit Monster Hunter in general. And at the end of the day, most of these issues were fixed due to that update, which most players consider so good that it completely outclassed the base game of World. Actually, it sped up the base game so much with the addition of an armor set and weapons that help you beat down every single monster. It also helped you with the fact that it added a grappling hook, which fundamentally changed how Monster Hunter World was being played. Some people said it felt sluggish and it felt slow, but this grapple hook made it so you could get right back up against a monster for the fight. And that's the thing about Wilds. It has so many of those quality of life updates already in its base game. And because of that, some of the monsters feel very easy and forgiving. You never have to worry when you have focus mode, nor do you have to worry about farming a monster for drops to get better armor sets and weapons, because most of the time you get all the drops you need to advance in 1, maybe 2 hunts. But on top of that, monsters themselves don't feel like as much of a threat with all these quality of life changes. Either the community and the wider gaming space got that much better, or the game is too easy and generous with drops, or maybe it's just the quality of life features that were added. But Wilds might just be too forgiving, and it seems like a lot of people want that hard challenge that World used to have. I can remember personally struggling on Anjanath for so long. Maybe I was just a worse player, but maybe there wasn't as many weak points for me to hit Anjanath to make Anjanath fall over. Have you ever been re-rolling for hours just to get a god roll Arshan weapon, but you're using a $2 face wash? Come on, Hunter. You wouldn't go into battle with trash gear. Why treat your skin like it doesn't need an optimized loadout? That's why I've partnered with Geology, an award-winning skincare brand that builds a personalized skincare routine just for you. You take a 30-second quiz and they send you exactly what your skin needs. Nothing more, nothing less. And as someone who's on camera a lot, trust me, Geology's system works. My go-to is their retinol night cream. Super smooth, never greasy, and it actually keeps me looking human after some 3 a.m. runs with the boys. No fluff, no 10-step nonsense, just clean, dermatologist-backed products that make your skin feel leveled up. Hit the link in the description to get 100% off your personalized trial set. That's over $50 in product plus a free gift card of your choice. You only cover the shipping. Seriously, it's like getting those gems and those perfect drops, but this time for your face. So take the quiz and gear up your skin. Now, let's get back to the hunt. This post sums up how most people feel about Wilds at the moment, and it says the story even more so. Quote, Monster Hunter Wilds reviews hit overwhelmingly negative on Steam, with many players citing issues running the game, claiming that performance has worsened over time, and some noting the lack of new monsters and endgame content. This post was the top on r/gaming, and it was the top on r/Monster Hunter for a while, and articles started to swarm in on how Monster Hunter Wilds lost 98% of its Steam player base. But I want to remind everyone who might be new to Monster Hunter that this is essentially a similar cycle that World had, outside of more substantial performance. Ultimately, I think people just need to sit and wait patiently. I think we're in a time of gaming right now where everything is so fast and players demand updates or they're gonna get pissed. Now, the real villain is obviously performance issues, and I don't want it to come off like I'm just defending Capcom for having really shitty performance on their game, but it is important to stress that just like World, I'm sure Wilds will get better with updates and time, and I'm sure as they keep adding more to it, a lot of these problems will be patched out. The game was really great at launch because when it did function, it really functioned. The visuals were absolutely stunning, and yet they never compromised the signature Monster Hunter art style. The world wasn't just beautiful either, it was fully alive. You'd go from exploring a bright and vibrant desert to suddenly finding yourself in the middle of a catastrophic lightning storm. And then of course there were some other locations that were in Wilds that were just absolutely brilliant. The monsters in these areas felt so impactful and important, and even the monsters that were in low rank of Wilds felt so unique unique and absolutely amazing compared to something like World. We were eating good this year, and I don't want people to lose the plot that we're lacking content when realistically the game has been good and it will get updates and it will get patches. I also want to stress that just because some monsters are ridiculously easy, and even the high rank monsters are pretty easy in Wilds, there are also monsters that are still throwing hands, like Mizutsune. So please enjoy these clips of me playing with my friends against this awful demon monster.
He literally did. He came out of nowhere. Like, Rego is making fucking potions! What is doing?
Oda Karen walks into the room.
Oh my god!
What the fuck?
What's the dog doing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a weak spot on the spec. What have we done?
No.
What have we done?
How did that break?
Close eyes.
What happened? What happened?
What?
Wait. No, what is it doing? No!
Yes.
No! Look at quickly!
What?
Nice!
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Captured it apparently.
A significant portion of the player base just insists that Wilds is too easy, not in low rank, but across the board. And again, there's been a lot of fantastic quality of life updates like focus mode, weak points, etc., that just help the overall experience. But realistically, the baseline of Monster Hunter Wilds is so good that it will just keep adding fights onto the roster. I don't want people to feel like they're not being heard, because ultimately, if performance isn't even letting you enjoy the base of the game, you have absolutely the right to be angry at Capcom. And negative reviews and review bombing is clearly a way to send a message. However, I want to stress that Capcom has never given up on a Monster Hunter before this, and every single modern Monster Hunter game seems to run into this issue now of at base launch not having a ton of content, and then the DLC comes in and fixes a lot of the issues. I know it's not the answer that a lot of people want to hear right now. I know people want to hear that the game will work tomorrow perfectly and that there will be 40 new monsters to go fight, all with harder fights, with rarer materials, with new weapon types, all these sorts of things. But I want you to be realistic, and I wanted to just talk about how the community was feeling. Wilds will one day live up to the Game of the Year status that it once held again. So in the meantime, I'm going to just keep playing other games, keep playing Wilds when it has some updates, and that's about it. So yeah, my name is Evan, and hopefully I explained that pretty well.